for his second goal. Here it comes. Clip backwards off a defender. McKenny trying to get on the end of it. It's crowded out down there. He's sliding in late there. Fernando Salcedo was the man fouled. Shelley Taft down on the field. What was the word from Dave Sarakin there coming out for the second half?
Well, Stu kind of just set me up for it because he highlighted those opportunities in the final third, and that was the message from Coach Sarakin, just saying we need to reward ourselves, kind of loosen up and enjoy this because we're putting in the work. We're getting all these chances. It's time for us to finish. We're getting these off the run of play, offset pieces, and we've put in the work, so let's really take advantage of this. And John, as you said and expect, we will see plenty of changes.
Quickly back to the feet of Rivera. We'll let it go for Luis Ali. Ali in for Rivera, just too far in front of him. He had space there as well on Palmer Brown. Rubin couldn't find Sargent with that header. Just managing one shot goal of that first half. So foul there. Now Wesley McKenny getting right in the face of Fernando Salcedo, and just said this rookie international referee O'Shea Nation just trying to keep things from simmering up too much. Lampe coming all the way in to have a word. There by Rubin, and then Salcedo will just foul him, and having just got a talking to from the referee, will earn the first yellow card of the game.
Good work again, though, by Rubin. He's been so positive in everything he's done today. When he's picked up the ball, it's all been forward, it's been at defenders. Just watching conversations right below us between Dave Sarakin and John Hackworth about, I think we're going to see our first sub pretty soon in this second half.
One of the assistants with Dave Sarakin tonight, former Philadelphia Union head coach. Way in chase of that ball and did not quite get there in time. So he was plucked from that side of the field. It's right behind the Bolivian goal. The U.S. players are warming up. Position there on the ball from Joaquin, and Bejarano just getting rid of it under pressure from Corona. Now Sargent making life difficult for Lampe. Ball was held in momentarily by Rubin. Robinson steps in. Sargent on the turn, takes the contact from Joaquin. Was offside though. So even as he was fouled, play was dead.
It's unfortunate he's offside because it was a lovely little move around the corner, and might have to get a new shirt there. Let's see, this one comes off of a tackle from Robinson, and yeah, it's a good decision by the assistant referee right on top of it, but I love this. Check towards it, throw your body into the center back.
Salcedo able to weave his way out of the traffic. Bejarano for Áñez into space, and does have a runner coming, but it's too close to Bono. Lay it down for Rubin. Listen running in front of him. Looks to come backwards to keep it. Cesar Farias, as I've said, he thought that should have been a foul there. Rubin stretched out to try to keep the ball. Sargent will right now get a new shirt. And the other one ripped. Just getting it away there from Tim Weah. Okay, he steps in to knock it away. Here comes the second youngest player to score on his debut in the modern history of the U.S. men's national team, and what a goal as well.
You're absolutely right, John, and what a moment for him. And he creates it all from himself. Steps up towards the pressure, drops off. It's a really poor decision here from Lampe, just so casual with the ball at his feet. But what a touch over the top of your head. Faces up the goalkeeper and hits it with power down to the right of Lampe. That's one he'll never forget. First start for the U.S. men's national team, hasn't made a professional appearance yet, and he's got himself his first goal, and he does it so well. I think he's worked really hard tonight throughout the game, and he's gotten his reward. That's what you want your strikers to do. When those chances pop up, put them away.
Juan Agudelo was 3.5 months younger when he scored on his debut for the U.S. back in 2011. Sargent, the St. Louis kid, as we said, one of a number of players who has his parents here in attendance. What a special moment for him. He was so excited just to play, let alone to score. Good alertness there by Eric Palmer-Brown to clear away that cross. One appearance, one goal. A bright future for him as he'll join up with the Werder Bremen first team come August, and Bolivia win a corner on the far side. We're back to defend this for the U.S. Vargas descended in short. Bejarano returns it. Vargas now from deep. Bono tracking. Look at the catch for him. He's looking to go quick. He's got Pulisic on the run. Just beyond his foot, though.
Great kick by Bono. Gets the applause from Christian Pulisic, who failed to take that one out of the air.
There you go. That's not just on their debuts. That's youngest in general. Pulisic still has that record 2 years ago today against Bolivia. Verona returning for Salcedo. He's got a big run from Rivera over the top. Flag's going to come up for offside, though. Cesar Farias is under contract, according to media reports, in his native Venezuela until the end of the year. Just recently took this job, some sort of an incident off the field with the prior coach. As we said, he was splitting time this week with the strongest, to whom he'll return. They've got a first leg this coming weekend of the Apertura final in the Bolivian League. None of his players were called in as a result. Verona under pressure from Bejarano. Knocked away. Help there from Vargas as well. Good interchange in the middle. To send Vargas forward and back to the feet of Alex Bono. The U.S. was able to beat Bolivia 4-0 on that night in Kansas City 2 years ago. So we're thinking that's that in the second half. Did just stay and play on the far side. McKinney steps up to win it. Sargent first to that loose ball. It's a go for Pulisic. Got Rubin to his left, way in front of him. Rubio Rubin. Little dance, but couldn't find the space, and an errant back heel. Looking for Anthony Robinson. Corona, late.
Yeah, that's a yellow. Good work by Rivera to dance past Joe Corona here. And he knows he's beat. Doesn't keep his feet moving, and that's a pretty solid tactical foul, you could call it.
27-year-old born in Southern California, lived on either side of the border with Mexico as a kid. He's on loan this year with Club America. It's been a long time Number of Tijuana joined him out of San Diego State back in 2010. Scored their first ever goal in Liga MX.
Played with Joe many a time, especially in the Gold Cup, and I can tell you he's not known for his tackling ability.
Luis Ali on the turn. Áñez now, the overlap. Knocked away by Palmer Brown. We'll let Corona deal with you after for that comment.
He's a great player.
Out.
Technically on the ball, finds really good spots, but, and I'll tell him this later, but Joe, you're tackling, you can still work on that a little bit.
What are the outliers? Such a young group. He's 27, Lehigh's 29. Tillman at 25 is sort of in between.
I mean, the center back position, John, for this U.S. men's national team it's going to be really interesting to see who emerges from that group, because we were saying this even in the last cycle with all the names that you had in that position with Omar Gonzalez, Jeff Cameron, Matt Beasler, and the list goes on. Now you look at this next wave, Matt Miazga, Walker Zimmerman, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Eric Palmer Brown. Just keep on going with all these players that are going to be in the mix, fighting it out for who's going to be the starter. It's going to be a fun one.
John Brooks still just 25. Carter-Vickers, it looks like, might not be appearing tonight. He and Bill Hamid a few minutes ago came over and sat back on the bench. Left the rest of the players who were warming up. And again, 2 more games on the way in this camp for the U.S. Both coming in Europe. Here's Robinson on the run. Rubin wants it inside. Robinson still finding space on Áñez. Got a good cross in for Tim Weah. His first goal and just his second appearance. Both the 18-year-olds getting on the score sheet. The U.S. starting to have some fun here in Philadelphia.
Well, another debut goal. This time it's Tim Weah. On his first start, gets his first goal. What a ball here by Anthony Robinson. The left back, 1-against-1, and it's such a delightful pass. Right in behind the center backs. Lampe can't commit to it, and Tim Weah, who missed 1 or 2 chances in the first half, takes this one so well. Just has a little skip, but it's the timing of the run that makes this goal. And then he just directs it home, past Lampe, and he's enjoying it, and as he should. He's had a good night, and that's another great moment for one of these bright young rising stars.
Born in New York City, has been in Paris last 4 years since the age of 14. What a fun moment for him to get his first international goal. Bolivia making a sub. U.S. is going to have a bunch of them coming in just a moment. Bruno Miranda is with DC United this year, on loan from Universidad de Chile, who we spoke with during the week about the difficulties, as he said, of this team being cobbled together. A part-time coach knew it was going to be perhaps a tough night for them. He's just on the field for Vargas as Rubin knocks it away. Sargent, Pulisic running with him. Áñez trying to recover. Rubin able to keep it after all that. Rubin the cutback for a second time.
Oh, he's tackled himself this time. After all that work, that's heavy legs right there.
On the long run, and Zimmerman plays it safe and out. The U.S. has 3 subs in the wings now. Keaton Parks, his family's just down to our left. Andrea Novakovic saw his family earlier, and Julian Green as well. And it'll be Weah who indeed gets the curtain call sub off after scoring his goal. What do you think of Weah tonight?
A little raw still, but a lot of potential. You can see why people are very excited about this guy. Tim Weah, I love his confidence, I love his swagger. I think tonight he could have had 2 or 3 goals. He got himself a goal. He worked hard on that right side. And he looks like he's enjoying it. And for Sargent. Sargent comes off, he got himself a goal. These are games that these players are not going to forget. Get the match ball tonight after the game.
Joe Corono also coming off for Keaton Parks, 3rd sub in that exchange. Here he is, 20-year-old from Dallas. And run for Luis Ali, runs out of space. And there's his family. Look at the smiles on their faces, wearing his Benfica jerseys. And he has a fascinating story. Was playing high school ball in Dallas. Played for an NPSL team. It's the 4th division. It's amateur. Had an offer to go to Southern Methodist, and instead ended up sort of someone saw him at the right type of trial, the right moment, playing in the Portuguese 2nd division. Then he gets signed by Benfica, one of the massive clubs in Portugal. Mostly reserves with them this season. Made 4 appearances for the first team, and here he is, a 6'4", 20-year-old center midfielder, making his debut for the U.S.
Yeah, I'm interested to see more from him, because what I saw yesterday in training, for a player of his size, has really good technical ability, had a good strike from distance. His technique was good on the way that he passes long and short. So let's see. First time we get to see him in a U.S. shirt.
So Novakovic, Green, and Parks. The first 3 off the bench tonight for the U.S. 3 more subs they can make. I suppose that's a benefit of getting a 3rd goal, that a little bit easier now to stay Saracen. They didn't want to break too much of the rhythm of things.
Think they're arguing over whose goal was better?
Said you could really see it in Sargent's eyes yesterday when we spoke with him, how excited he was to play for his national team, regardless of the opponent, the context, the circumstance. There was Parks with an outstretched leg to intercept that. Julian Green there. Saracen told us he was actually really surprised and impressed by him. They see him as a center midfielder right now. Parks then throwing an arm into the face of Rivera, gets whistled for a foul. They're being chased in the middle by Green. McKinney slides through. That's going to be a foul. Weston McKinney's going to get a yellow card.
Been late to a few tackles today, Weston McKinney. Sort of dangles the leg, and yeah, he just catches that left ankle. He knows it straight away too. Turns to the referee, pleading his case.
Yesterday, really understanding the ins and outs of his position. His time with Schalke so far. Well, military family as well. Weston McKinney's dad was in the Army. Couldn't quite describe what exactly his mom did. She was a dentist and was somehow involved in the service, but he wasn't really entirely sure how to phrase it. Rubin on the end of that header from Zimmerman. Julian Green. Novakovic wants on the far side. Green takes it himself and misses the target. We mentioned Andrea Novakovic. The Novakovic family may be the biggest stars to come out of that game in March against Paraguay. Jenny, what more can you tell us about the 21-year-old forward?
And I'm quickly learning so much more about their family and just the support system, and it's something that we have to remember. These moments for these families, they are so special, and you may remember they made the trip to Raleigh to see his debut. That was a 16-hour drive from Wisconsin to be there. Now, his second appearance, 846 miles later. That is what Mom told me yesterday. She said it's just these moments, really, for our family, not only to support him, but just for us to experience together. She said, we're going to be a little more subdued today. You guys can let me know if they're actually pulling through on that.
Yeah, let's see if he scores a goal. They're still going to be subdued. Long run for Parks.
I'm starting to think that Jenny maybe got invited over for dinner. She's an honorary member. They were happier to see her yesterday in training than they were us.
Pulisic from Green. Numbers flooding forward through the traffic. No one there in white. Rubin sliding through first on a loose ball. Leonardo Vaca just came onto the field for Ronaldo Sanchez, tracking it down to the corner. Making life difficult for Lehigh. It'll be a U.S. throw. Or will they give it as a free kick? It's going to be the case, and Julian Green will take his time to come over and take it. Lehigh wearing the armband tonight. Scored the goal of the season in the FA Cup. One of 2 goals against Arsenal as Nottingham Forest knocked him out. Got a dog for it named Gunnar, who he said is with neighbors this week as all the families in town for this game, and he came sliding through. Couldn't get to that ball in time, but it brings out for another U.S. throw. Quickly in for Lehigh. Olisic now. Lehigh able to keep it in tight quarters and find Pulisic. Third as far as Zimmerman. Clark's opening it up for Robinson. Rubin. Novakovic is in the middle. 3 green shirts collapsed on him. Now it's green in the middle. Just looking to turn there. Sagredo. It's clipped out for a throw. His first call. Keith Parks is on his debut, was at one camp with the under 20s last year. Again, good touch to find Julian Green, 1v3. Green got it in, took a redirection in behind, U.S. corner. Novakovic, native of Milwaukee, of Serbian descent. On the books at Reading, but on loan with Telstar in the Dutch second division. Phenomenal season, 22 goals. It was the club's best finish since before he was born in the early 90s. Green off the short corner, lifting it in, bodies flying in, and Lampe stronger than McKennie to control it. A little bit the worse for wear for it. Novakovic, another mentioned Parks had the offer from SMU. Novakovic had an offer to go play at Marquette in Milwaukee that instead he went over to England. Robinson commits that foul. It is one of the interesting things how many young American players, and we're seeing a lot of them, are implanted in clubs over in Europe. Not that that's the only path, but Matt Reese yesterday, U.S. assistant coach, and talking to him, and he mentioned sort of the lost generation of players who were part of groups that missed Olympics twice in a row, missed U17 World Cups, missed U20 World Cups, and so center response, okay, so what would you call this generation, the Pulisics and the McKennies and the Novakovic? And he said, it's the generation of new hope. Hopefully quality seasons for all of them coming up, regular appearances in their clubs both here and abroad. More subs in the wings, Lyndon Gooch among them. And he got first to that loose ball. Green, good work there to shield it off. Andrei Novakovic sandwiched. Able to prevent the corner. Gooch and Matt Olasunde getting set to come on to make his debut. We want 4, say the American Outlaws. 20 minutes for these players to provide it. Rivera for Ali. Robinson quick to catch up to the loose ball. Spun back out of it, but needed to pass away. Referee got a block on it. Now to try to do something with it. Now bodies flying around. That was Julian Green from the seat of his pants who rolled that along for Weston McKennie, who blows his way through a tackle. McKennie now. Novakovic dropping in. Support coming from Lehigh. Pulisic just wants it at his feet, trying to go do something with it. Being knocked away, Rivera. A little pressure there by Palmer Brown to win the ball away. Robinson escapes. Novakovic, the touch for Keaton Parks. Parks cuts around one defender. Not a lot behind it, but Lampe able to get his body behind it.
Just watch this from Weston McKennie. He's a bull in there. The physical side of him, he's been involved in tackles and everything in the middle of the park, gets up, and then the athleticism to drive forward. I've really seen him progress in that side of his game this season at Schalke. He's talking to us about playing under a really young and exciting coach in Domenico Tedesco, and they finished second, surpassing many expectations. They'll be in the Champions League next year, but learning the ins and outs of playing in the middle of the field, getting the reps. Had a couple little niggling injuries this year with muscular injuries, a knee injury at one point, but he's bounced back and very excited about his future as well.
Novakovic, he was past the first defender, but he's got the 37-year-old Raldas riding him down to the corner. Novakovic still battling in there. He's got back on the ball, and he gets a corner out of it. Family likes it. Why not?
They always know where the camera is too, don't they?
They put the fourth official's board up. We'll see if the changes come now or if they wait until after the corner. It looks like it's going to be the case. Well, Rubin will come off. 7th appearance for the 22-year-old from Portland, Oregon. Gooch, native of Santa Cruz, California, to an English father and Irish mother. And with Sunderland, 2 straight relegations for them, though. Frustrating times. And Eric Lehigh will come off. Here's the corner now from Pulisic. And a foul whistled in there. Matt Sunday comes on for his debut. Walker Zimmerman's going to get the captain's armband, but he's got a long run. He's just going to hold it in his hand as Bolivia quickly come the other way. Vaca dancing around with Robinson. Got to cross in. That's easy stuff for Bono.
This Bolivia team's been very poor tonight, haven't they? Not taking away from some of the performances of some of these youngsters tonight, but going back to this being a second, being loosely a Bolivian side with everything that they have going on in their domestic league and the players that they had available, but execution for them in the final third has been very poor.
Kenny under some pressure, gets it away for Julian Green. Parks. Green for Pulisic. All of Sunday's first touch as a national team player. In for Parks for the byline. Didn't do anything with it, but did take a touch off the defender. 10th U.S. corner. Julian Green. The outswinger Parks was up well for that one, and Novakovic couldn't do anything with it. On that, all of a sudden, the 6th player tonight to make his debut. He's got quite a story, and to tell it to all of us, here's Jenny Taft.
Well, to get things started, he was born in Philadelphia. Grew up in Trenton, New Jersey, like you said, John. So yes, there is plenty of family and friends here. They were all cheering for him when he came on. About 20, he told me yesterday he expected. And right now, playing for Manchester United's academy system. Since he turned 18, he also spent some time with the New York Red Bulls Academy. That meant a 2-hour commute that his parents committed to make sure he could be a part of that. And when I talked to him yesterday, he also brought up another thing, the Mooch Soccer Academy. That is a Trenton inner-city soccer program that he said really helped him just develop. He started playing with older kids from the very beginning. He said they couldn't get me off the pitch, and I always was improving and being challenged. And he said, I'm nervous to be with the national team, but I hope to show, especially in front of these friends and family.
Yeah, Mooch Soccer is so named for Glenn Mooch Meyernick, former U.S. national team assistant. Passed away a number of years ago now. Just a beloved figure for anyone who encountered him in the U.S. soccer program, as that's going to be a chance now for Bruno Marano, just met in the last second by Anthony Robinson as that ball was in the air, able to break that up, out for a corner. And another one of these initiatives that we all talk about, having to cast the widest net possible and give as many people the opportunities to play regardless of where they're from, their economic situation. That's one of those programs that has now been a part of Matt Sunday's journey. We mentioned at Manchester United trying to work his way through their system. 2 seasons with the U23s and former U17 World Cup player for the U.S., making his senior debut tonight. Third quarter of the night for Bolivia. Morales got his head to it, but out for a goal kick.
Now, a player we're talking about a lot in the first half, John, Anthony Robinson. Right here at the bottom of your screen. Now, he just takes a little switch off there, but a couple times tonight. Now, that would be my one criticism of defensive positioning, but he's made up for it with his speed. And one of the stats from the first half, or throughout the game, is he's created more chances than any other player in this game with 4. He has the assist on the goal to Tim Weah, and dare I say it, but looking at a left back with speed that can defend and attack and provide good service into the box.
Mistake there by Morales. Novakovic couldn't take advantage. That's one of the things this coaching staff has been selling on these players. You got an opportunity here to be the position X, whatever it is, for the next 10 years for the U.S. national team. Can you take that opportunity? All of a sudden, they've beaten for a moment, able to recover. Handling hard with Vaca. Rodrigo Rodriguez, one of the other just recent subs that snuck onto the field, number 13 for Bolivia. Got a touch on the ball there. Here he is again. Rodriguez making his debut at the age of 27. Parks the outlet for Pulisic.
Not the best night tonight for Christian Pulisic, and this is something we talked about earlier. Just looks like a guy that is ready to check out, doesn't he? Just to get a break and try and recharge those batteries, whatever he wants to do. I asked him, I said, do you have any plans for a vacation? And he said, first, I just want to go home, see some friends, and then, yeah, I've got some trips planned, which he didn't want to elaborate on, but I'm sure he's just going to get away from the game for a little bit and really come back for next season, rocking and raring to go.
One of the things he said was, I want to see my dog.
Fair enough.
He'll get that opportunity soon. 90 minutes away is Hershey, Pennsylvania, his hometown, and here comes another Bolivian sub. David Hirano making way. That'll be the 6th sub of the night. Leandro Magua, 25-year-old. Free kick is knocked away. The U.S. does have one substitution they can still make out there. Rodriguez trying to get an attempt away, and it redirected. Bono didn't do anything about it, but hope and watch that his debut shutout for the U.S. national team wasn't spoiled. Just wide out for a corner.
Yeah, this is one of those strikes. It's a hopeful one from distance. Doesn't get good contact on it. It's poorly hit, but it just takes the deflection right there off Walker Zimmerman, and like you said, hoping that that one didn't end up in the back of the net.
Ali to take the corner, bounces all the way through. Rodriguez, errant pass. Parks able to redirect it to the feet of Olasunde. Green was trying to chip that ahead for Pulisic. Didn't quite work, but he's able to win the ball back. Great little hip feint from Pulisic to get away. And takes a hard bump off the ball as he was making a run. Parks has it instead. His driven cross. Novakovic was shouldered off it by Morales. Works his ball into space for Vaca. Olasunde on it, not letting him get past him. 10 minutes left. In the banks of the Delaware River. Goals from Zimmerman, Sargent, and Weah tonight. Pulisic laying it back for Green. A bit of a stumble there, allowing him that second touch. Now Christian Pulisic, options coming forward. Gooch is calling for it. It's a bit behind Green. It's knocked away. And that was part of the Bayern Munich system. And he played for the U.S. 4 years ago at the World Cup. On the books at Stuttgart, was on loan in the German second division, scored a goal on the final day that kept that team up. A moment for a player that, as you said, for the life that he's lived, for the career that he's had, for the moments both famous and infamous that he's been involved in so far. He's still just 22.
It was interesting talking to Dave Sargan, who said he sees him more as a central midfielder in the role that he's playing right now. And we predominantly seen him wide on the left and the right, coming in on the right foot to try and get shots off. But playing as a two-way midfielder in the middle of the field, We haven't really seen too much of him in that position, so interested to see how that one goes for Julian Green.
Sunday heading it straight to the feet of Rodriguez. Miranda comes to get it. Made his debut for Bolivia against the U.S. 2 years ago today in Kansas City. So that game like this, it was just sort of a cobbled together team that struggled for cohesiveness, and as if on cue. Feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? Mark's throwing his body in there, as is Novakovic. That's going to be a foul, though. Lasagna is slow to get up. Ball put quickly back into play. Robinson helping to recover there. Robinson to get it, heading away. Parks taken away by Áñez. Back into the middle, but only Zimmerman was there. He plays the outlet for Lyndon Gooch. Evades one tackle, evades a second tackle. Green with the turn into space. Sunday on the outside. Green continuing his run forward. Sunday cuts inside and is able to find Gooch. Parks, Pulisic opening up to his left, took it himself.
Snatched at it. Caden Parks, because he found a really good space there in front of the back four to pick up the ball. The first touch was good. He cushioned it in. He's just leaning back and takes this one too quickly.
Said a lot of this is somewhat academic. If the general manager, running reports, is going to be Ernest Stewart, is hired now, then the coaching process begins. But if you are the new U.S. coach, whether you're sort of watching this lying in wait or if you're watching this back on tape, in which case, hello, who are you bringing with you? I mean, the obvious names we know, but who's been someone sort of more on the periphery that if you're the new U.S. coach, you say, okay, I think there's something there I can take with me?
From the players tonight.
Yeah.
I've liked what I've seen from Anthony Robinson from that left back position. I think the obvious ones are McKennie. I think Walker Zimmerman has been really good in the back. Eric Palmer-Brown has been quiet, but as a center back, that's what you want. You don't want to be
sometimes a good thing.
Too involved and known for those types of things. I think Josh Sargent's going to be in the mix. As far as he's left a good impression tonight, Tim Way has left a good impression. So, I mean, there's not many players that I'm looking at that have done themselves a disservice tonight.
Or obviously just don't belong at this time.
They don't belong, and that was something that Dave Sarakin said to us yesterday. He said, even in training, there's some guys that have had a better couple days training than others, but he says everyone has proved to me that they belong at this level right now. So that's a positive sign first and foremost.
Well, with Bolivia's fifth corner of the night, off the 5, Palmer-Brown. Green first to that ball. Novakovic making a big run to left. Can Green find him? And the flag comes up for offside.
Sure. I think he's on.
I agree.
Because his run comes from deep here, and he's frustrated. Let's have a look at this one, because I think Julian Green times the pass really well here to dump this one over the top. And,
his family's in line with it too. You saw their reaction.
Well, here it is, and the ball's off, and I think he was onside. Let's see, it's
trying to find the cut of the grass there.
Yeah.
But it looks like Áñez is holding him on.
There you go, taxi! Please say he's offside. Yes, he is, okay.
Christian Pulisic is down.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, that one's right in the face.
Just in case, it's not been a tough enough 9-10 months. This is going to be the last game for him of this season before a break, and the next season at Dortmund.
Might have a nice shiner from that one.
Jorge Villafaña's up and ready to come on. And it will be Pulisic who makes way. And they still call Sueño Jorge Villafaña. Radio MLS, a reality show that was his launch into a professional soccer career. It's made him now the third player, along with Herculez Gomez and Omar Gonzalez, to win both an MLS Cup with the Portland Timbers and a Liga MX title with Santos Laguna just recently. But we'll see. Pulisic will continue now, and Villafana will wait in the wings for a moment. Anya's long run. Robinson is there. Villafana looks like he's going to be coming on. We'll see if for Pulisic or someone else. It will be the sixth and final change for the U.S. with about 3 minutes to go. Dueling down in the corner using his strength against Vaca, and slid in to redirect that pass. Parks opening it up for Christian Pulisic. Novakovic wants it, now he's offside. He's trying to get himself back onside. Pulisic with other options as well, all the way across. Too far for Ono Sunday. Here comes the change. It's going to be a curtain call for Christian Pulisic.
Go get your feet up, kid.
Villafana, just days before winning the Mexican League title, was robbed at gunpoint down in Torreon. Robbed of reportedly $20,000 cash. His wife was with him. Said in recent interviews it really does give him the perspective of what's important in life. Very, very scary moment for him. Some of the best and worst of life in just a matter of days. And there, here he is, making his 17th appearance with the United States since his debut just last January. Right now in his 17th of 22 possible games for the national team. Really made himself a regular. Green from Gooch. Is there a fourth coming for the U.S.? Not there. Anya's trying to recover. Novakovic making his life difficult. Picked up by Villafana just on the field. Direct traffic. Green wanted it in there. Green looking for space, letting fly, and Rafa had to hold that. Second save for him since coming off the break. Well, we said this is a referee in charge of his first international match, and you can imagine CONCACAF officials and refereeing people are keeping a close eye on him, very carefully evaluating, is he properly applying the rules of the game, is he getting all the little things right. Is chance now again for the U.S. Numbers flooding forward. Gooch fires it into the stands. So referee wants to make sure he does everything very much letter of the law with all those eyes on him. 5 minutes,
it's a long way of saying.
Really? Why, there's 5 minutes stoppage time in this game.
Yeah, Dave
Wilmer
Sarah
Cabrera
say, really?
Dave
5?
Sarah
Come on. Can I get another sub on?
He's going to call the fourth official. Danny on parchment will make this as slow a walk as possible.
You can see the fourth official's got a little smirk on his face. I know, coach, I know.
Sarah, one of the nicest men you'll ever spend time around, and has given a lot of his life to the U.S. Soccer Federation. Very much put in a no-win scenario.
Well, I can tell
coaching
you
these games.
I'm sure a few people watching out there, and us included, they're looking at that 5 minutes saying, oh, come on. But those players that are still out on the field have 5 minutes to score a goal, and the players that are making their first appearance will want to get one of those goals. So they will take all 5 minutes. I can guarantee you that.
Julian Green to take the 11th corner of the night for the U.S., and a header's just looped over. was Andrea Novakovic.
That's a good ball in by Julian Green, and Novakovic in traffic somehow finds a way to get his head on this one. Two defenders around him. Good strength.
A player with some size, 6'4", Novakovic.
I would take a Novakovic goal right now just for the family celebrations alone.
It's a long drive for them from Milwaukee. Would make it a very happy drive back. Will they feel that they got out of this what they hoped, I suppose?
Yeah, and perspective, again, is key. Let's not cue the hype train too much here, because this has been a very, very poor Bolivian side that the United States have played today. But in terms of the progressions from the first half to the second half, taking on board the little tweaks that Dave Sarachan made, being more clinical in the final third, Tim Weah getting a goal, Josh Sargent getting a goal, some good individual performances. That's all you can ask in this type of setting and scenario. So you can see some of these players that started with nerves early, they've grown into the game and have gotten their first caps and their first taste of what it's like to put on the U.S. men's national team shirt.
They're trying to return that cross. It's overhit. As we mentioned, that the U.S. will make a number of changes, maybe as many as 10 according to reports, for the games in Europe the next 2 weeks or so. Green for Villafana, numbers flooding forward. McKennie wants this ball. Instead of the far side, it's Gooch who brings it down. Blocked, second a chance from a narrow angle. Behind, did it take a touch? No, it's going to be a goal kick.
He couldn't settle it enough quickly enough, Lyndon Gooch here, because great little move from the United States in transition. Started with Keaton Parks, finds Julian Green. Good ball up to the back post, and he's just waiting to get it out of his feet. That last touch allowed then for Hakeem to come out and make the tackle.
She changed the decision. Everyone was pointing for a goal kick, and now it has been changed to a corner. Green the outswinger this time, and met by Áñez as referee was whistling for a foul anyway. 90 more seconds. As we said, Republic of Ireland and France to come. Reports of some pretty high-profile opponents to come in the fall for the United States, potentially in friendlies. Gold Cup just about this time next year. We'll see. The old schedule would have meant actually fall 2019 would be the beginning of World Cup qualifying, but the Qatar World Cup is 6 months later, so the question of whether it's going to be an expanded 48-team World Cup, so that is very much an open question. You'll have a qualifying process at some point soon for the 2020 Olympics. So they come, hopefully, these young players who've on the field, and many more who we'll be seeing in the next couple of weeks for the U.S. And a GM will get a coach. Hopefully build a good road back from the disaster of October in Trinidad. 30 more seconds here. Chance for Bolivia to score. Alex Bono's shutout on his debut in goal for the United States has not yet been forced into a save. He's marking out, trying to get his wall set up.
This looks like it's going to be a strike here from distance.
Rodrigo Rodriguez. So Leandro Maigua standing over it. This will almost certainly be the final action. Bono playing in front of his parents tonight. Lee Rodriguez couldn't get it past the wall. Maigua has it back, knocked away. Referee looking at his watch. Will allow time for one more U.S. attack. Villafana tried to foul him and couldn't. Looking into space. Parks will track it down. Gooch wants it inside, has it now. And that's the end of the game. So, 6 players make their debut. 3 get their first goal. Josh Sargent, Walker Zimmerman, and Tim Weah in there, and a victory for Dave Sarachan in his 4th match in interim charge of the United States. More to come here from Chester, Pennsylvania, as this friendly tonight finishes United States 3, Bolivia 0.
You get the brand new Laser X Micro double set for $29.99, and shipping is free. Batteries not included, extra blasters sold separately. Must be 18 years or older to order.
U.S. players celebrating a 3-0 win tonight over Bolivia. Stu, Jenny, and I will speak to you next on June 15th from Sochi as Spain takes on Portugal in the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Before then, Mexico and Wales on the way. JP Delacamera, Tony Mioli, Mariano Trujillo coming up from the Rose Bowl as we say goodnight from Philadelphia.
Lady Jennifer, you are a true friend of the crown. Dilly Dilly. Excalibur.
I spent the last 4 years pulling this out of the stone.
I thought that was a legend.
Sir Doug.
Bud Light Lime.
And Bud Light Orange. These are very rare.
Dilly Dilly.
Dilly Dilly.
Oh, here, let me just move this.
Bit of misery. Dilly Dilly.
Bud Light Lime and Bud Light Orange, brewed with real citrus peels.
Home of the Mexican national team for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. You're watching FS1.
The start of the 2018 FIFA World Cup is 17 days away, which means another chance for Mexico to leave their mark on the global stage is just around the corner. But before embarking for Russia, Juan Carlos Osorio has 1 week left to name his final squad. Tonight at the iconic Rose Bowl, a crucial week begins as Chicharito and company square off against Wales, live on FS1. The road to Russia makes a stop tonight in Pasadena, California. This is the Wells Fargo pregame show. The game tonight comes to you from the infamous Rose Bowl. It's an international friendly. Mexico gets ready to take on Wales. Welcome everyone to our coverage here on Fox alongside my friends Mariano Trujillo and Tony Mioli. I'm JP Delacamera. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. Mariano, we start first with Mexico.
Let's start with Mexico. It will be a tactical formation with 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, or 3 forwards. Corona will be the starting goalkeeper. Alanis and Ayala, the 2 center backs. Edson Alvarez, the America player, will be performing on the right flank as a fullback. Molina, the Monterrey Rayados player, will be as a holding midfielder. And on top, Aquino, Tecatito, Corona, and Javier Chicharito Hernandez.
And for Ryan Giggs, his 3rd match in charge here for Wales. Wayne Hennessy, 27 appearances this year for Crystal Palace, gets the starting goal. Ashley Williams from Everton will captain the side alongside Ben Davies. They'll anchor that back 4. In the middle of the field, Andy King from Leicester City alongside Aaron Ramsey from Arsenal, earning his 53rd cap. And look for Harry Wilson, the most active player in this roster, to play underneath Sam Vokes from Burnley.
This is the first of 3 games that Mexico will play before they head off to Russia to play in the World Cup. Come back with us for the kickoff from Pasadena.
What's your secret? I discovered Nugenics.
I wish my husband did.
It's easy. Just send a text.
If you're a guy over 40, text 42424 and enter the word WORK to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenics is a unique man-boosting formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help boost your free testosterone levels, to help you feel stronger, leaner, with more energy and drive, more passion too.
Here, try a bottle. And trust me, she'll like it too.
Text 42424, enter WORK, get a complimentary bottle of Nugenics. Samples are not available in stores, so text 42424 and enter WORK.
I was a very rebellious kid. I got mad. I got kicked out of training. When I found out my wife and I were pregnant, I changed my mindset. My wife and my daughter gave me emotional stability, and this is why I'm here today.
Welcome back, everyone, to our coverage here on Fox. One of the stars of the night to watch, Javier Chicharito. We had a chance to catch up with him earlier in the week.
We always feel welcome here. It's like our second country, if we can say that, because you know it's great. It's great that when you come here to another country and you feel like you're at home, you see all the stadium green, shouting, screaming your names, screaming your goals or your good performances. But at the end, of course, it's a good way, and you feel pretty proud and pretty like confidence about that.
Another great crowd here tonight at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, Mexico. First of 3 games before they will go to the World Cup in Russia, and there are places at stake for this Mexican side. What are we expecting tonight from Mexico, Mariano, in the early going?
To drop into the line of the defenders and also push forward a little bit to help the other 2 midfielders. Also Edson Alvarez, the American player, he has that flexibility on the field, playing as a holding midfielder, center back, and as a right back. So it will be very interesting, the performance of those players on the field.
Tony, your thoughts?
Well, you know, first thing I look at is the goalkeeper, right? And Corona gets the start tonight. Ochoa is likely the guy there. Is this a one last rehearsal for Corona? We'll find out here. I thought he was. Corona gets the start tonight. Ochoa is likely the guy there. Is this for a young manager, that's probably the best information you can get.
Before this game gets started, let's get a sideline report. A Wells Fargo report comes to you from Rodolfo Landeros.
Thank you very much, JP. Yes, the thing is with Juan Carlos Osorio has been struggling with a lot of issues regarding player injuries. I'm not talking about recently cut defender Néstor Araujo. I'm talking about also key players such as team captain Andrés Guardado, also defenders Diego Reyes and Héctor Moreno, as well as Giovanni Dos Santos. The latter, who recently saw activity this weekend with the LA Galaxy, didn't play a single minute in the last 3 weeks regarding injury. Now, I talked with Andrés Guardado. He won't be playing against the Welsh team. He won't be playing against Scotland next Saturday in the Azteca Stadium because he's still recovering from surgery on his right leg. Now, Juan Carlos Osorio was very clear in the press conference this Friday. If no player is 100% fit after the game against Scotland in Mexico City, they will not be traveling to Russia for the World Cup. So it's going to be very critical days for Osorio as well as the Mexican national team players. Back to you, JP.
Chicharito and company getting ready for this kickoff. Armando Villarreal is our match referee. Mexico will be in green tonight. Wales in red. Chicharito looking for his 50th international goal. Recently got his 100th appearance against Croatia. Waiting for the whistle. Get it underway. All set. Mexico with the initial possession. Gutierrez will play it to the left. Ayala holding there. They've had some injury issues. Araujo no longer part of that 28 preliminary list. It's a ball badly played back, but it's cleared away by Corona. Early mistake for Mexico. Wales will take over. Lawrence, 11 in red, pushing it to the left side. Ramsey has help on that side if he wants it. Davies was there, couldn't find him. Davies gets to it, give and go. Davies couldn't get it. Ramsey pulling it back. Doubled up there, and he lost it out. Interesting start in the first minute.
You see Aaron Ramsey getting forward quickly. He's one of those players, JP, over the last couple of years. I really enjoy watching him. He's one of those, Mariano, that kind of leaves you wanting more all the time, right? He's one of those players, he shows so much skill in certain parts of the game, and then there's some times where he checks out. He's obviously had some injuries over the years, but what a fun player to watch when he's on. His
soccer IQ is unbelievable. The way his vision, his skill vision on the field, obviously his technical ability is important. Let's keep an eye on Edson Alvarez, because he's a little bit nervous. He's a little bit shaky. He knows he's playing for a spot in the final roster.
And I think this is good early for Mexico to have to deal with some pressure. Obviously, they open up with Germany. We talked about it in 20 days. And against Croatia, I thought, Mariano, that they didn't do a very good job when Croatia pressured them in these situations. So how do you build out of this in order to get it to those guys up front that can really do damage for Mexico?
Well, and actually,
let's pick it up here as the ball is played across on that far side. Mexico attacking in numbers, and it finally goes out for a corner.
And actually, that's a very good point when we see Juan Carlos Osorio giving instructions. He's a very passionate coach on the sideline. After that game, Tony, a lot of players, high-profile players, spoke out saying that we have to have certain organization, and we already need to know the way we're going to play going to Russia.
Gutierrez will take this corner, goes short with it. Almost took a friendly Mexico bounce, but it's finally cleared away by Wales. Up for Ramsey, who lost it there on the touch. Look on this right side. Tecatito broken up. Wales will try to move it out. Talk about injured players from Mexico. Wales is missing a big guy, Tony, and Gareth Bale.
Well, he was a little busy this week.
One of the greatest goals we've seen in recent time, right?
He was busy scoring goals.
Yeah,
and winning Champions League.
Congrats to him and to Real Madrid, but Wales will be without his services. You saw how much he impacted them during Euro 2016. Lead pass ahead on this left side, cut back by Vokes, and then it's cleared away. The two teams, Wales looking fairly confident here in the early going.
Vokes isn't normally the guy you want running at people. He's one of those target players who'll run into channels and hold the ball up for you. And Ramsey underneath him, along with Harry Wilson, they're the guys that really will provide service.
Ball is pushed back by King. Ashley Williams, captain of Wales, longtime captain at Swansea, moved over to Everton. Didn't get as much playing time as he thought he would, Tony, this past year.
Yeah, he's still an enforcer in the middle of the park for this Welsh side, and someone that obviously has international experience, and Ryan Giggs is going to have to call on him if this team is going to get to the next level and make some noise in the Europa Championship or even qualify for a World Cup, which you haven't done since 1958.
Switched by Ayala here in the 5th minute. Mexico in green on the attack. Gutierrez, Aquino. Now they're settling into a rhythm. Hugo Ayala pushing it left. Alanis. Gutierrez. Who among these players out here, Mariano, is competing for one of those final spots?
But obviously Gutierrez, he was called last minute because of Andres Guardado's injury. The Mexican captain had a surgery trying to help him with his injury. He's still recovering, so that's a big question mark. If Andres Guardado is not fit, like Juan Carlos Osorio said for the next game, probably Gutierrez will be in that final lineup. But also, JP, you want to see how he develops his game in this type of games.
Tecatito on the cut, looking for some help. Doesn't need it there as he takes the shot. Looked like it was good when it left his left foot. It's a corner.
Yeah, and those are the areas you want Tecatito in. Earlier on, he was out wide 1v1, but when he cuts across the box, he gets runners in the box. And obviously has a look at goal here, got deflected, earns him a corner kick here.
He's a different player. Every time he has the ball in a 1v1 situation, he doesn't hesitate. He takes the defender in front of him and creates trouble for the defenders. Sometimes it's very predictable, so Mexico will need to work in some other options.
Herrera will take the corner. Puts one in towards that near post, never got there. On the turn, Tecatito with that cross. Second ball, won by Mexico. It almost fell for Chicharito, but instead it's cleared by King.
And when you talk about Tecatito, Mariano, you can attest to this. He's one of those guys you kind of have to live with some mistakes, right? Because sometimes he overdoes it and there's a trick, there's a flick. But when he gets in situations like this where he can get it one-on-one, try and split two defenders, he's so dangerous. And, you know, it doesn't come off all the time, but it's one of those things when it comes off that one time, it really helps your side.
And as a coach, you want these type of players to do that. Him, Chucky Lozano, when they're on the field, that's all right. It's all right to lose the ball in that part of the field.
Knocked away by Ayala. Tony mentioned Wales making the World Cup just once, and the same with the European Championships. That's why Giggs never got to play in a major tournament despite 16 years playing for his national team. Now he gets to coach them against this man, Juan Carlos Osorio. Already rumors about Juan Carlos Osorio's next job, and he hasn't even finished this one.
I think that was the day he signed, right, yeah. Mariano? They were
probably. Ball cut in. Lawrence looking. Everyone looking to see if there's going to be a call there. Tom Lawrence was expecting something.
It was good movement there by Lawrence. Good ball slipped through and alert defending by Mexico here.
Yeah, but that's a lack of communication, first of all, and also the lack of chemistry. This is a new backline. They haven't played together in another game, so you can see how they're hesitating a little bit in those recovery balls.
What determines, Mariano, when they go with 4 or 3 as we've seen in the past?
Well, usually what Juan Carlos Osorio says is if the opponent is playing with 2 forwards, you want to play with a back line of 4 because you will have your 2 center backs and with a back line of 3 because you will have your 2 center backs and another center back just dropping a little bit to cover the backs of those 2 center backs. When they're playing with 1 forward, you can play with a back line of 4 because with 2 center backs will be enough to mark that man.
Ayala, one of the center backs tonight, pushing it to the left side. Alanis. Laid off by Chicharito. Molina. Ayala.
Just good patience by Mexico here. No options forward. You got to get into that middle third of the field, and again, Tecatito draws a foul here and splits 2 players.
But again, Tecatito Corona holding the ball, shielding the ball. Pressure is coming from the other side, as we can see. Nice recovery tackle by Ayala. But Molina, the holding midfielder, he's very good recovering the ball, but from my perspective, he doesn't distribute the ball in a good way. He's not an option going forward.
Aquino pushed it ahead. Made off to that far sideline. Cross is coming for Chicharito. He couldn't get it. Neither could Tecatito. And finally, Wales will move it out. It's off the head of Gutierrez. Back and forth headers. Davies blocked. Last touch by Mexico. Throw in for Wales.
Well, you mentioned Molina here, and that's probably why you have a guy like Herrera, right, who's a distributor, who has all those three ranges of passes, right, that does all the things. So they have two different qualities in the middle of the field, and now Juan Carlos Osario's mission, right, is to find how those qualities fit together.
This one goes against Mexico. Free kick coming up for Wales. They've not played since March. This is only the third game under Ryan Giggs. A trouncing of China, 6-0, and then a narrow loss, 1-0 against Uruguay. Those were his two results. Williams walks it up. I think Davies lost that in the sun.
Yes.
Lawrence, that's Lawrence up on that side.
Welcome to California.
Yeah. Hugo Ayala walks it up. Club team is Tigres. I thought that was a foul. It is. Foul called on Chris Mepham.
You don't want Javier Chicharito Hernandez to drop that deep to get the ball. That's not his best skill. You want Herrera, as Tony was mentioning, and Gutierrez to find those little gaps in between Wales lines to try to feed Javier Chicharito Hernandez higher on the field.
Alanis almost gave it away, but Chicharito was able to keep it rolling. Tecatito on the right. We wanted some different movement out of Chicharito. On this right side, Chicharito playing it across, never got there, cleared away by Wales. Just near the circle. Vokes couldn't get it. Ramsey can. Didn't get the foul called against him, but Wales is able to keep possession with Davies. Lawrence picked off.
That's good recovery there by Mexico in transition. And reading Ryan Giggs' comments prior to this game, he said, talking to this group, he said, look at Mexico and look at the work rate from this team. This is what you need to get to the next level. So he's trying to tell his young players that, use Mexico as an example. Look, when it doesn't go well, the one thing they do is work pretty hard.
Driven long, right sideline. Tecatito by the corner flag. Waiting for the assistant referee. He's going to say corner.
This shifting of the ball is something that Juan Carlos Osorio put a lot of emphasis when he's coaching the team. He likes to draw attention to one side of the field and by surprise switch the ball to the other side to Javier Aquino or Tecatito Corona to have a 1v1 situation and take advantage of that.
Driven by Herrera. Just short and picked off. Mexico will get it back. Juggled there. Molina couldn't find it. Ayala tagged that one, but it's well off target. And Molina's down.
It looked like on the follow through he'd gotten hit.
Apparently okay. Back to business.
There is contact.
Yeah, contact. Nothing in it right from Vokes, just going to block a shot. And to get his studs up a little.
But Tony, in this type of games as a player, you have to be careful, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to go and challenge that ball, especially when you're really close to the World Cup. That doesn't mean you're going to hold back, but you have to be careful.
Well, you go back, right, to Croatia. And 3 right backs, or 4 right backs played for Juan Carlos Osorio, and obviously Araujo, he's out of this now, out of the World Cup because of that injury, and that's always in the back of your mind, there's no doubt.
Reinforced, no doubt, by 2 players getting hurt in the UEFA Champions League final. Ball knotted down, Wales getting it back.
And hopefully Mo Salah, we will see him play, and Carvajal as well.
Lifted over the top, Hennessy missed it. When you come out that far, you got to get a piece. He missed it. Almost paid a price.
I like that run by Chicharito there, right? Peels off the shoulder of the defender. Good ball played in and almost gets on the end of it. Hennessy fishing a little bit here. There was enough air under it for him to read it. He just made a bad read and earned Mexico a corner.
But that's Javier Chicharito Hernandez, always making hard runs behind the defenders.
Up for grabs before it could get to Ayala. Wales is able to clear. Here they come on the counter. All the way upfield with speed. Options left and right. It goes to Lawrence. The decision was okay. Execution was bad. So was that.
Yeah, and a lot of green jerseys recovering there. Good in transition again as we see the foul by Alvarez here on the sideline. But Mexico looked like they were under it a little bit, and they were able to
And now it's going to be Lawrence instead. He went short with it to Davies, who makes that run. Lawrence inviting ball, but it's too far away from Vokes. Goal kick for Jesus Corona.
You see a little frustration there by the back four of Mexico. They kind of fell asleep there as they put a second man on the ball, and luckily the ball was overcooked just a bit as Ashley Williams was coming forward. That's got to be frustrating as a center back. You wait, you finally come, and the guy puts the ball 20 yards out of bounds. Now you got to run all the way back.
It is important. The guy with the ball has to deliver a good ball in order to be dangerous in set pieces.
Ayala moving it ahead. That's picked off as well. On the move. King over the top. A bit too far for Vokes.
A bit sloppy there from Mexico.
And that same situation happened a year ago in Confederations Cup facing Germany. Javier Chicharito Hernandez pops in that position. He loses the ball. They don't recover well, and Germany scored the first goal. Same situation, obviously not the same quality.
Yeah, and that's the difference, right? When you get to the World Cup and you have to play Germany, you're going to get punished for mistakes like that. And when you make a mistake.
Joe Lely moving it short. Lawrence forced back. There's an injured player though. That's Ashley Williams. Didn't see how that one happened. 17th minute, but he is the man down.
We'll have a look here. I'm not sure. He kind of lands awkwardly there. Seemed like he was grabbing his midsection, Mariano, but you see here, as soon as his knee hits the ground, gets caught in the turf, and
yes,
his body goes in awkward positions.
He's complaining on his ribs.
Yeah.
So probably Javier Chicharito Hernandez opening the right arm, making contact. It was a fair challenge. Obviously, Javier Hernandez put an elbow in that part of the.
With Williams down, gives me a chance to ask you guys your take on the first 17 minutes. How has this game played out?
But players are on the field, and you cannot do that in the World Cup.
And for me, I'm looking at a style, right? And when you come out of a game, and if a team's playing well, you have an idea. Are they a counterattacking style? They're a build-up team. Do they play through the midfield? Do they skip lines? Right now, I haven't figured that out for Mexico. At least for Wales, what I'm looking for is they sit in this sort of medium to low block, and when they win the ball, they go on a counterattack. For Mexico, I'm not quite sure that they have figured it out just yet, Mariano.
Let's see what our man on the sidelines is seeing and hearing. Let's go to Rodolfo Landeros.
Yeah, we're still awaiting on what happens with Welsh captain Ashley Williams. Just as a precaution, Ryan Giggs sent player number 15, top lock here, to warm up. And what you were talking about, the injuries, I asked Juan Carlos Osorio if what happened against the Croatia friendly with Carlos Salcedo hurting his collarbone, with Nestor Araujo, who won't be making the World Cup, if he was afraid if the players aren't giving their full potential in this upcoming games. He told me that it will depend mainly on what the players want to demonstrate on the field. But you got to remember, this might be the last shot for some of these guys.
Thanks, Rodolfo. Williams still laboring as he goes off with some attention.
Yeah, he looks injured there. JP, to Rodolfo's point, you know, effort is one thing. Going into those tackles like Mariano talked about before, that's a completely different thing. You may come out of that tackle, Mariano, but the effort has to be there, because that's adding points for you when they go back and the coaching staff sits together and say, this guy played well, this guy didn't play well.
Yeah, I had a coach that always, before every single game, used to say, the effort is non-negotiable. You can make mistakes and you can probably back up from some challenges, but effort has to be there, and probably Juan Carlos Osorio is looking for that, and also individual performances.
This is unfortunate for Ashley Williams because, as we mentioned, not getting much playing time with his club team, looking forward to getting back on the national stage, and now he's coming out. Tom Lockyer, the 23-year-old who plays for Bristol Rovers, will take his spot early. So you lose that experience and the leadership of Williams, and hopefully he's going to be okay.
And there's kind of an awkward fall there as his leg got jarred, and should be a like-for-like substitution here, JP.
First touch there from Lockyer. Trying to go long, and again, Lawrence couldn't see that ball, shading his eyes as it was coming near him. Off the throw in from Alvarez. 21st minute, zeros on the board, Mexico and Wales. International friendly, road to Russia. 3 games for Mexico, and then it counts. Opening up against Germany at the World Cup. What a matchup that is for your first game. For both of those teams, actually. It's a test for Germany, too.
Yep. And back to your point, Tony, I totally agree with you. Sometimes we see Mexico trying to build that from the back, and in the last play, we see Ayala trying to hit a 50, 60-yard ball towards Aquino. It doesn't make sense. You cannot identify Mexico's style in this first 21st minutes.
Foul drawn by Tecatito.
I'd like to see Mexico pick up the pace just a little bit here, especially through this part of the field. I'm okay with this kind of patience and trying to draw players in and overload one side and then find some numbers on the other side of the field. But now, can you get forward here? Because this is too slow here for me, because Germany, you got to start thinking about Germany and the pressure they put on you, and they will be all over you here. Can you play out of those situations?
Friendly roll there. Quick shot save, Hennessy. That one he got to. Big save for Wayne Hennessy, keeping the 0.
It back like this, Mariano, is just going to allow them to shift from side to side.
It's an Alvarez.
I'm sorry, JP. You need to play. Try to have an advantage on the lines, on the sidelines.
Ramsey from Arsenal, finding King. Low for Vokes. Unable to turn. Help is coming though. Late run. Davies. Needed a better ball to go forward, but keeps possession. Ledley, picked off by Tecatito. Rolls in the box, a little too casual there with Ayala. Alvarez, pressure now building here from Wales with Davies. Mexico trying to break out. Molina. He got the call.
And Molina got bailed out there, but it was good